Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's we'll be comparing the new 4Runner to the new Land Cruiser to see what the differences actually are and which one you should buy. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Schmiller Toyota here in Murray for giving me some time with both these vehicles. I'll include a link to their website in the description down below. If you have any questions, just ask for Josh. Also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Powering the Land Cruiser is a hybrid 2.4 liter 4-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed. This is the only powertrain available with the Land Cruiser. It puts out 326 horsepower, 465 pound-feet of torque. Fuel economy with the EPA is rated at 22 around town, 25 on the highway. Now the 4Runner has two powertrain options available, the second of which is the same as what's in the Land Cruiser. The first of which is what this one has, is a turbo 2.4 liter 4-cylinder non-hybrid, goes through an 8-speed. Fuel economy is 19 around town, 25 on the highway. And then power outputs with this one are 278 horsepower and then 317 pound-feet of torque. The 4Runner weighs about 500 pounds, 600 pounds less than the Land Cruiser with the non-hybrid. And it's also two-wheel drive, so that helps out with the fuel economy. Now, before we move forward with this comparison, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Now, one of the biggest differentiating factors between these two vehicles is going to just come down to the styling, if we're being honest. The Land Cruiser has a boxy retro style. I mean, look at the rectangular headlights, for example. Look at the hood, how upright the windshield is. And compare that to the 4Runner. You can see the windshield slanted quite a bit more. I mean, the hood's actually pretty boxy, but you can see it has the same front end as the Tacoma. So it's going to depend. Do you like the kind of more angular design of the 4Runner, or do you like the boxy design of the Land Cruiser? Now, when it comes to sizing with the tire and wheel setup, it's actually identical, so 265 by 70 by 18 on both of them. You do have slightly more aggressive all-terrain tires with the 4Runner versus the Land Cruiser, but let's be real here, everyone swaps out the tires. Now, anyways, you can see the fender flare difference on both of them, and also the fender difference. Look at the Land Cruiser, the fender pops out quite a bit more compared to the 4Runner, and then the Land Cruiser has the squared off mirror cap, whereas the 4Runner, you can see that it's kind of more angular with the design. They both actually have fixed side steps, funny enough, and I have these lined up not perfectly, but pretty darn well. You can see the wheelbase is identical at 112 inches. These ride on the same platform. They have the same wheelbase, basically the same car. So here's the side profile of the Land Cruiser, and then here's the side profile of the 4Runner. Now here's a look at the cargo area with the 4Runner. Again, this is the non-hybrid, so you're gonna have a little bit more space back here compared to the hybrid, which is going to raise the load floor a little bit. But yeah, lots of little storage nooks and crannies and all that. You got an outlet in the back as well. Very practical overall, and it is power now, by the way. Now, a really cool feature with the 4Runner is the giant 4Runner logo. Now, it's actually the window here, so we gotta wait for this to fully close. And let's press it again. There we go. So yeah, it's power with the window. It's kind of a cool 4Runner feature. Let's try that again. There you go. Sometimes it's a little bit finicky. Now, taking a look at the Land Cruiser, you can see with that hybrid battery, it does raise the load floor, but overall, the cargo area is pretty similar in terms of the spacing up top. Got an outlet here in the back, and you're gonna see a lot of similarities between these two. Power for the hatch, just like the 4Runner. And you'll notice that we've got this little button here. This pops the rear glass. There we go. So it's manual, it still opens, but it's manual, unlike the 4Runner that's automatic. And then look at the rear ends of both of these. Again, you can see the stylistic differences with boxy versus not boxy. Now, backseat area with the 4Runner here, you can see nice padding there. And then this one's got the premium package, so you have the nicer seats. Something that I've seen that's interesting though with this is legroom is not horrible, but it's not massive. You do have good headroom. And then when it comes to features, you basically get some USBs, an outlet, all of that, nothing too crazy. And then this leads us over to the Land Cruiser. You notice that the materials used just look and feel quite a bit more premium, and that continues onto the seats as well. And something to note is it does look like there's actually a little bit more legroom here in the Land Cruiser. You get your own climate zone in the rear, and the headroom's really good with the boxy design. Now, popping up front with the 4Runner, again, you can see the soft touch here. Got all of our window controls, memory seat function, blind spot monitoring with the mirrors. Payload on this is $895, for those of you that are wondering. And then here's the front seat. Nice trim all down the center. And then you got stuff like your power adjustable steering wheel. Pop in here. And start it up. Full digital gauge cluster here in the 4Runner. And you'll basically notice a bunch of carryover from the Toyota Tacoma with this. So look at all the controls here on the steering wheel. And this is the general steering wheel design as well. And then we've got stuff like a 360 camera system. Great resolution. And you can see all of the shortcut buttons there on the side. Single zone climate, interestingly enough. We do have heated and ventilated seats, heated steering wheel, phone charging pad. And then this is a traditional two-wheel drive, two-speed transfer case. You do have Toyota's modern cruise control and multi-terrain select, really good system. Rear locking differential, of course TRD there on the shifter. And then you got the like Tacoma center console is what I call it. Still have the same Tacoma glove box, which does a little wiggle. Storage above the glove box. Camera, rear view mirror, no sunroof with this particular one. And this one has equipped stickers for about $58,000. So, yeah. Interesting to see the difference with the door handles. But anyways, again, with the front door panel of the Land Cruiser, more premium with the materials. Even the window controls kind of have a fancier look. Power folding mirrors, blind spot monitoring. Quite a bit more payload, 1,100 pounds with the Land Cruiser. And then here's the front seat. Nice trim. Power adjustable steering wheel. You got trailer brake controls integrated here. And let's pop in. And we've got a little stop start button down below. So digital gauge cluster. Let's try that again. There we go. Notice the theme though is quite a bit different. This is similar to like what you see in the Toyota Crown and all of that. And that's actually a good example with this, or a good description is if you look at like the materials used in the overall design, this is very Crown-like. And we'll turn this down quickly so it's not so loud. And look at the steering wheel here with like the finish. You got your adaptive cruise control, lane centering. But yeah, a little bit of a different design there, kind of more luxury looking. We've got a 360 camera, a smaller screen view, obviously, but still somewhat similar functionality overall. And then heated and ventilated seats, heated steering wheel, just like the 4Runner, but we have dual zone climate. So up front, that's a big change. See the drive mode select, and then notice multi-terrain crawl control as well. And then with this, we have a center and a rear locking differential, full-time four-wheel drive system, two-speed transfer case, stabilizer bar disconnect as standard on this particular package. If you get a 1958, it doesn't have the stabilizer bar disconnect. Big center console. If you get a premium, it's a fridge. But yeah, more storage space in the center console. Nicer trim on top. You can get a camera rear view mirror if you get the premium package, but I mean, a premium Land Cruiser is literally $10,000 more expensive than that premium 4Runner. And then you do have a sunroof up top as well. This one equipped stickers for about $66,000, so about $8,000 more than the red guy next to us. So with that being said, let's sum things up for this comparison. Oh, Toyota 4Runner. I want to quickly say that this isn't going to be a crazy big test. I'm sure Toyota will send me out a 4Runner to test for the week. Toyota is really good at sending out test cars to Utah. So I'll have much more in-depth impressions sometime in the future. When that will happen, I don't know. But it'll happen this year for sure. Probably towards the middle of the year is my guess. But I can at least give you guys a little bit when it comes to impressions with this new 4Runner. So first off, this is very similar feeling to the new Tacoma. Basically, if you've driven the new Tacoma, this just feels like a new Tacoma, but lighter, smaller, which it is, right? It's a smaller vehicle. So it just kind of feels like a better handling new Tacoma, which isn't a bad thing. Like it's really nice. The new Tacoma actually drives quite well. And because this is a smaller vehicle, right? Well, I mean, we'll see. This powertrain should be able to motivate it quite a bit better compared to the Tacoma. I'm just going to use this down here to... I thought this would be a good place to turn around. Maybe it's not. But yeah, suspension is comfortable. I mean, this is not the worst road on the planet, but, you know, it's got some bumps and everything. And yeah, it goes over it nicely. I'm just going to turn around right here. We'll just do this. There's no one around. We'll see how the turning radius is. Now, this is going to have a pretty good turning radius because it allows you to be in two-wheel drive. I know a lot of people want full-time four-wheel drive, and obviously there's some big benefits, but turning radius is nice with two-wheel drive. And the thing about Toyotas is they have a really good traction control system that if you've never driven a Toyota, like, you can get to places in two-wheel drive that a lot of cars need to be have all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive for. It's really, really cool, like the wizardry that these modern Toyotas have with the computers and everything, what they're able to do. Yeah, I will say this powertrain actually feels pretty darn good in the 4Runner. Once we get here, I'll get you guys kind of like a somewhat real acceleration. Yeah, like right here. That feels quick, actually. This is the non-hybrid. So you just needed a small enough, light enough vehicle. The Tacoma doesn't feel slow, I want to be clear about that, but yeah, the 4Runner definitely feels a little bit quicker. So yeah, this feels truck-like, right? So if you kind of like that more rugged truck-like feel, but then it is more comfortable. This does feel like it's more insulated overall compared to the previous gen 4Runner with sound and everything. So it's just kind of like it's kind of like an upgrade all the way across. Yeah, not bad at all. I'm actually really impressed. I'm really impressed. So initial appearance or initial look on the new 4Runner. Let me know what you guys think about this new 4Runner. I'm excited to test out different packages, see how the hybrid performs in this, see how that compares to some of the other vehicles that have the same hybrid powertrain. And yeah, I'm excited to get one of these off-road, see how it performs, because I've got a new Land Cruiser, so I definitely want to do a comparison with the two off-road. But that's all for today. Well, let us set off in the Land Cruiser. So the second that you get in this, it just feels like a more premium product. Now again, there's a price premium on this, so you'd better hope so, but there's not as big of a price premium as you might think. So if you do a 4Runner with the Tier D off-road package, the premium package, and the hybrid, you're not that much less than a Land Cruiser. Really what the pricing looks like is a Land Cruiser Premium. A Land Cruiser Premium is about the same price as a 4Runner Tier D Pro or a 4Runner Trail Hunter. So that's kind of like your comparison. But yeah, you get like a nicer interior here. And the ride quality, it still feels truck-like, just like the 4Runner. But I'd say I mean, I wouldn't say that one rides better than the other. It's not as big of a difference as I might think originally, but this is still a really nice ride. The full-time four-wheel drive system's really appealing, obviously. This does feel like it doesn't handle worse, but it does feel heavier. But it doesn't handle worse. It's like no downside. And even like the turn-in and everything. Well, okay, that's where you do, like, it doesn't handle worse, but you do feel that, you really do feel the extra weight. This is different than I kind of expected coming into this initially. Definitely sit more upright. Definitely have a much better view over the front. Like the 4Runner just feels longer with the front end. I like this screen setup more. This just looks nicer. The gauge cluster I actually like in the 4Runner more. I feel like this kind of animation's, I don't know, not my favorite. Nice to have dual zone climate. Nice to have the center locker, right? The ability to, again, basically have almost like all-wheel drive and then have like a full locked four-wheel drive. That's a nice feature. Sunroof. That 4Runner didn't have a sunroof. That's also another option that would kind of make it so they're almost pretty much the same price if you did a hybrid 4Runner Tier D off-road premium with the sunroof. Man, I don't know. It's actually it's a tougher decision than I thought originally. I think it just depends on what you value. Again, this feels like a more premium product, and I'll have to get them both off-road to see which one ends up being better off-road or if they're the same. But my guess is this, with the better four-wheel drive system, is probably going to end up doing better off-road than the 4Runner. That's my guess initially. But I think a lot of people, if you're coming from 5th gen 4Runner, I think this is just the reality of it. I think that you'll prefer the Land Cruiser if you're going hybrid. If you don't want the hybrid, then like you can't get a non-hybrid Land Cruiser anyway, so you're stuck with a 4Runner. But if you're going hybrid, I think that you're going to prefer the Land Cruiser. The looks, it just objectively, it looks better on the outside. The interior's nicer. It has the full-time 4-wheel drive system, and it's not like it's a huge price premium. It's basically priced almost identically to a 4Runner with similar equipment. So really, you are paying for either, I mean, yeah, you're just paying for either model, which one you kind of like more. And I know some people say, oh, the TRD Pro and the Trail Hunter will be more capable off-road, and it's like, take one of these off-road. You throw, like what I have in my Land Cruiser, all-terrain tires on, like really aggressive all-terrain tires on this thing, don't have to lift it or anything, and it will be able to go everywhere that Trail Hunter and that TRD Pro can go, and comfortably too. The suspension on this is very comfortable off-road, especially when you do the stabilizer bar disconnect. But let me know which route you'd go. Now that I've had a chance to drive both these objectively, I still lean towards the Land Cruiser over the 4Runner personally when it comes hybrid to hybrid.